Good evening everybody, my name is Beena and this wonderful little fella here is Walter. Welcome to the channel, hope you're doing well. There's a bit of a bump. It is Saturday, September the something. I want to say 21st or 20th, I don't know, it doesn't really matter, does it? All that matters is that Walter and I are out and about in the lovely Bedfordshire scenery. Sorry, I got distracted there because someone just screamed as I went past them. Kids playing about. Yeah, we're out having a nice little ride. It has been a mixed day, weather-wise. Weather report. Whoop. Yeah, mixed day. It started off a little bit misty, sort of a kind of typical British autumnal morning. And then it's been beautiful sun for most of the day, and really quite warm, so sort of in the 20s. It's a terrible place to park, isn't it? Yeah, in the 20s, really nice. And then around about 3ish, I guess, half 2, 3ish. It pissed it down. We had thunderstorms. Yeah, it's pretty grim. But it's dried up a bit now, so I'm going to take advantage of that and come out and have a nice little potter whilst I can, because it's going to be a bit of a grim week. I think actually today probably marks the final day of summer and nice weather here in the UK, certainly where I live. Because next week it's going to be sort of 11 degrees, a lot of rain, getting towards freezing overnight temperatures, so definitely hitting autumn. So yeah, I thought I'd best come out and enjoy the last nice day whilst I can. And also wanted to test out my my new purchase. I had a bit of a spending spree. If you know the expression gas gear acquisition syndrome, it's applicable to quite a few hobbies. You know, I'm into photography. Gas is very prevalent in that. Motorcycling, also no exception. It's just the proclivity for us men to acquire increasing amounts of gear that we probably don't really need, but in this instance I'm going to say absolutely do need. So yeah, I've bought 3 things this week. One of them was an impulse buy, and the other two were, well, one was a necessity and the other one was a bit of a luxury, but I've had my eye on it for a while. So let's start with the necessity. The necessity being, we are coming up to winter, as I've already mentioned, and I only have a pair of riding jeans, well, a couple of pairs of riding jeans, but nothing that was going to keep me really warm. I've got a thermal layer, obviously, but nothing that's going to keep me warm and, more importantly, dry. I do have some cheap, very cheap waterproof over trousers that I bought, that I keep in my pannier here just in case I get caught out, which might happen today, who knows. But they do look like I'm wearing a pair of black bin packs on my legs. They're not particularly fetching, but they do it in an emergency. But yeah, they're not going to be warm, so I really needed to get myself some decent winter trousers. I wanted some that had a nice removable thermal lining and that were properly waterproof and had armour in. So I went online and went to Sports Bike Shop and bought myself some Oxford ones, of which I've completely forgot the name of, so I'll put it here. Yeah, they're very good. They seem very good. I mean, it's been too warm to wear them so far, but I think they'll be perfect. They're very much like ones I had when I used to ride back sort of 15 years ago. And I was very happy with those. I did buy them in my size. I bought the large size because I'm a 36-inch waist, 34, 36, and they were way too small, so I had to return them. And so I decided to go and take them back to an actual physical sports bike shop. Is it called Sports Bike Direct? Whatever. So yeah, there's one about half an hour away for me, so I went yesterday to take them back and bought my impulse buy, which is some earplugs. Now I usually wear just your foam, you know, your cheap foam inserts that you roll up and pop in your ears, and they work really well, you know. I do have issues with them though, because I've got, I think I mentioned in a previous video, I've got a weird shaped ear canal in one of my ears. I think a lot of people do, and quite often I find that I haven't put it in properly, and I only discover that as I start to ride along, which is really annoying, because I then have to stop and take my helmet off, my gloves off, glasses off, helmet, and you know, the whole rigmarole, trying to get them back in again. And some days I just really struggle getting one in, so I thought I'd try some of these kind of little rubbery ones that you poke in that reduce the noise. They kind of reduce the high frequency noises, i.e. Wind noise, and let some of the other stuff through. So I got these from, again, name here because I can't remember, sorry everyone, my memory is terrible, to give them a go. And these were the race version. You can get some touring ones and all sorts, but I got the race ones because they offered the most soundproofing. And yeah, I thought I'd try them out, and they're much easier to get in. They come with a little they come with this little rod thing that you stick in the end of them and then poke it in your ear and wiggle, sort of spin them in, which means that you get a really nice fit. And yeah, they go in really well. And as for noise cancellation, yeah, I mean, they're certainly not as good as the foam ones. I mean, the foam ones pretty much block out nearly everything, don't they? And I think I'd still prefer those for if I was going on a long journey. But for just pootling around like this and, you know, going out for an hour or so, I think these are pretty good actually. When they do cut out the wind noise for the most part, but you get to hear more of your bike. And well, I mean, that's the thing about them. You're supposed to be able to hear more of your surroundings. So, you know, car horns and sirens and things. But yeah, I can also hear my engine and my exhaust, which is lovely. I did worry that it might be a bit too booming, because occasionally when I don't fit my earplug properly, the airbox can be quite resonant and a bit much. Okay, it's quite booming now as we're going up this hill, which you probably can't tell from the video, but it's quite a steep hill. But yeah, for the most part, I quite like them, and it just makes them nice and easy to get in and out. And also, I wore them this morning, so I went for a quick ride to the local chemist and petrol station to get some petrol. And I didn't have to take them out because they're good enough for me to actually hear people with them in, which is handy, because that's always a bit of a faff having to take them out and put them back in again. But I thought maybe they'd be a bit more eco-friendly, you know, because those foam ones, you know, wear them for a week or so and then lob them away. But yeah, they get a 1.5 thumbs up from me, I think. If this is my new rating, I don't know. And then my biggest purchase, well, I mean, I say it's my biggest purchase, the trousers, yeah, they were expensive-ish. I think they're supposed to be 200 quid, the trousers, but I got them for, I think it was 130, maybe less than that, 120, so they're on offer, which is a bonus. But my bigger purchase was this little fella here. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you who regularly watch have probably spotted that ever since I've had Walter, permanent fixture on the handlebars has been my Beeline Moto navigation device, which I've really liked because it's fairly simplistic. It does the job. I don't have a fifth gear. Sixth gear. Yeah, it does the job, and it's really unobtrusive, so you can't really. It doesn't really spoil the look of a classic motorcycle like a big old, like a phone would, or a dedicated sat nav. So yeah, I've used that for 1,500 miles since since I've had Walter. I've been very happy with it for the most part. So it did have its drawbacks, and its biggest one was, if you've never seen one before, actually I'm going to go here, I think, yes. So its biggest issue was it just had, as a navigation system, it was just like an arrow that pointed in the direction that you were heading, and then it had little dots to the side, to each side, left or right, to tell you when your next corner, what your next turning was going to be, left or right, and then a little countdown distance on it, which is fair enough. And if you're just exploring, just pottering around, no particular destination in mind, then it's fantastic because it's not distracting, and you could always find your way home. So yeah, I didn't mind it, but it did mean that sometimes the directions were a little bit vague, and it was a little bit slow to catch up with where you were going. So I did miss my turn-ins a fair bit. If I was going on some country road and there was sort of kind of hidden turn-ins, or turn-ins that weren't quite so obvious, or maybe in towns, it coped all right. But when you get kind of city riding or town riding, it could be a little bit inaccurate, a little bit difficult. So I had my eye. Actually, when I bought my original one, they'd just announced the Moto II. And I had my eye on it, but I thought no, I couldn't wait for it to come out because I was getting the bike and my sense of direction is legendarily terrible. So I thought I'd just buy that. It was cheaper anyway. But I kept an eye on the second generation one to see whether it was any good. And it came out relatively recently. And the reviews of the thing were quite positive, so I thought, yeah, I'm going to upgrade. I'm fed up with missing these turn-ins. So I did that. I treated myself. If you watched my last video, you know that I sold a camera and some lenses and had some extra cash, so I treated myself to this. And I think it's brilliant. I love it. The upgrades are definitely worth it over the old one. It seems to be a bit quicker. The screen's a lot bigger. Well, I say a lot bigger, it's noticeably bigger. It's not massive though. It's colour now as well, I mean, you wouldn't see it at the moment. But the addition of this little map on it, the little route map that you get on traditional sat-navs, is very, very welcome. Because you can see where the road's going, you can see what turn-ins there are and when your turn-in's coming up. And I'm coming up to a turn-in here, which I'm going to ignore and go left instead, but I would get a little couple of flashing lights to say your turn-in's coming up, and actually a beep as well, which is pretty pointless. Thank you for indicating, everybody. Yeah, the beep is pretty pointless unless you've got a headset, you've got it Bluetooth connected to you, because you can't hear diddly shit. But yeah, that little addition of the little route road is very, very handy. So yesterday I went to see my mum, and she lives about 40 miles away from me. up in Northampton, and whenever I go I take a fun route rather than a direct route, because the direct route would just be a blast for 25 minutes up the M1 and then a blast down a dual carriageway for another 10 minutes, and that's not fun, is it? So yeah, I always take the back roads, and it takes me about an hour and a half to get there, and then a different back roads route on the way back. It takes me about another hour and a half. And it's a good mixture, it's a really good test for this, because it's a good mixture of country roads with some really little nadgery lanes. There's a big bug just hit me. And some town riding as well. And this performed absolutely flawlessly. I didn't miss a turn. I knew exactly where I was going. It was just perfect. So very much well what sentence was that? Very well justified purchase for me, in my opinion. There are, well, just before I get onto the negatives of it, of which I don't see there are many, to be honest. It also has some extra features that the other one didn't do. One being it's got these rocker buttons now, so it used to have these 3 physical buttons on it. They're now quite stiff and they're hard to push if you're wearing gloves. And they didn't really do an awful lot either, to be fair. But this one's just got a rocker system on it now, so the whole bottom plate moves, which makes it so much easier to access the functions by just tapping on it like that. And as you can see, that has now changed, and it's telling me my ETA to my destination, which is a new edition, which is brilliant because that should have been on the first one, but I guess they couldn't really fit it on there. But yeah, I mean, you do want to know when you're going to get somewhere sometimes, don't you, if you're going on a bit of a trip. So that'll tell me, it's now telling me it's 14 minutes to home, and I'll get there at 1 minute past 6. It's currently 5:47 and tells me there's 4.1 miles left there. If I tap that again, it tells me my speed, my current speed, my average speed. That one tells me how far I've gone and time elapsed, and there's my battery and whatnot. It also just told me to go down there, and I've ignored it again, haven't I? So yeah, love those features, very good. It has another new feature, and this is the thing that I'm going to be negative about, and that's in the corner here. You probably can't see it on the camera because it's too far away, it's too tiny. But in the corner it has a little legend, a little speed limit. Well, speed limit? Yes, little speed limit icon. It tells you what the speed limit is for the road that you're on. So it's saying that this one is 30 miles an hour, and it's currently got a red ring around it. It hasn't now, but it did have, saying that I was exceeding that speed. I was doing about 35, so sorry everyone. And that'll change now to 60, which it has done, and it has a little ring round it, which gradually fills up to show you how much of that speed you're doing. Now that's a really, really handy feature. I like that a lot. Being able to know what the speed limit is for the road that I'm on, and whether or not I'm exceeding that, because I'm a good law-abiding citizen. However, it would be a really good addition if it worked and wasn't so terribly, woefully inaccurate. Look at that view, beautiful. It's just awful. I don't know where they've got their database of speed limits from, but it's nowhere near accurate. And it's not like it's occasionally you'll come a road that might be a little bit ambiguous. It's like maybe 30-40% of the time on the journey. No, that's too much. Maybe 25% of the time on my journey yesterday. So that was a good 3 hours of riding, 80 miles. Maybe 20-25% of that time the speed limits were reporting as wrong. So I'd be in a 30 and it'd say 60. In fact, it's doing it right now. I've just come into a 30 and it's saying 60 miles an hour. And, I mean, this is in no way a 60 miles an hour limit, and it's just a big sign there that it said 30. and vice versa. I'll be in a 60. I was in a 60 a couple of times yesterday, and it was saying it was 30 miles an hour. In fact, there was one road I was on in Northampton town centre, which was a 40, and it was saying it was a 10 mile an hour speed limit, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's car park speeds. So yeah, they need to sort that out, because that's just dreadful. I mean, if it worked, it'd be fantastic, because that's a really good addition. But as it is, you just can't trust it. I mean, you can turn it off, but I just have it on for comedy value at the moment. So yeah, that's one thing they need to get right. But other than that, I really, really like it. 40, is it going to say 40? Oh, it is going to say 40. Also, with it, as like I say, I've had the other one for a while, a few months. And the app that it comes with is also really good. You can plot your rides, you can tell it that you don't want to use motorways or toll roads, that you want to pick a fun route or a fast route, and you can plot waypoints and that kind of stuff. Sometimes the waypoints can be a bit iffy. Well, they could on my old version of this. I don't know whether this one is the same, because I haven't plotted any waypoints at the moment. But yeah, the app's really good. But I thought I would, having bought this one, I thought I'd give the subscription a go, because you can pay a monthly subscription to it, which I don't agree with. I hate all this subscription-based nonsense for everything these days. But I thought I'd give it a go, because it's £4 a month, which isn't a massive amount of money. Because I wanted to try the round trip function. So the subscription gives you Bluetooth directions, which in my opinion should be as standard. I mean, what a con that is. So it gives you those. It gives you live traffic on it as well, sort of reroute you based on traffic. The back end of it is Google Maps, so you know that the traffic's going to be good, you know that the maps are good. And then the other thing, which is what I really wanted it for, was you can tell it to do a round trip route, or you can do single routes as well, but I particularly want it for the round trip. So basically you say to it, okay, I want to start from wherever, here, where my home, whatever, and then you give it a distance that you want to do. So for example, I said just do me a 10-mile round trip today, and then it will just create a round trip for you for 10 miles and tell you how long it will take. And that's brilliant, because sometimes I'll tend to stick to the same routes that I've done before if I can't be bothered to plan the route out. Whereas with this I don't have to. I can just say, okay, you do that for me. So that's really handy. So I thought I'd give it a go. I mean, you can cancel the subscription at any time, so if I don't find it useful, I'll just knock it on the head, just pay 1 month. But yeah, I mean, I sound very much like I'm an advert for Beeline. I'm not being paid, I promise. I wish I was. I've only got 360 something subscribers. I don't think Beeline's going to be making a beeline for my door to give me any free bits or pay me anything. I just want to give my thoughts, and my thoughts are, I really like it. So there you go. So that's been my week, buying stuff mainly, and not doing a lot else. I see yesterday there was some spy shots taken of the rumoured, well, not really rumoured, is it? Everybody knows about them. The classic 650. I see that Glyn Owen on his channel posted a picture that someone had taken of what looked like most of the range on there, all the colours. And I had a little bit of discussion on them, so head over to Glyn's channel if you want to see that. What do people think about that? I mean, personally, I'm very happy with Walter. I like my single-cylinder thumper, so I won't be upgrading anytime soon, that's for sure. But yeah, what are your thoughts on it? Something that you're going to trade in your classic 350s for, or your Bullet 350s, or your Interceptors maybe? Excuse me while I navigate this. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to get a really good idea of what they look like from the spy shot. They have a strange kink in the exhaust, which I'm not particularly fond of. Now, Triumph did the same thing when they originally released the Bonneville, re-released the Bonneville as a modern classic back in the early 2000s, and got a lot of flack online from the Triumph purists, who felt that it kind of spoilt the look of the classic look of the Bonneville, and they did rectify it in later models and made it a straight pipe. So it'd be interesting to see why Royal Enfield have done that, if we ever find out why they've done that. I mean, it might have just been a design choice, but I suspect it's there must be some practical reason behind it being like that. So that puts me off a little bit. And I wasn't sure about the tank. I don't know, it might have just been the angle it was at, but the tank looked like it had a bit of a rake to it, a bit of a rearward rake. But we'll see. I'm sure it'll be released soon, because if that spy shot seemed to me to be possibly press, tested it out, or maybe doing some early reviews ahead of an embargo, I don't know. Time will tell, won't it? But yeah, comments below. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you going to buy one? Are you happy with your current model? Are you going to be buying a shotgun instead? Well, yeah, that was just a little ramble out for me, just to blow the cobwebs off and enjoy what I think is going to be the final summer evening of 2024. We didn't get many of them in 2024, that's for sure. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy your week. I hope you've got your waterproofs on. As always, stay safe, keep the shiny side up, and I will see you next time. Bye!